in my throat. Okay. And show you where to find this later. So if like you miss something, you can go back and find this. But I want you to try and find these things with me as I do this. So I want you to be using Canvas to check for upcoming assignments, to schedule office hours when you want to come see me after school to get help. If you ever need to message me, you can use Canvas for that, and especially when you're absent. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. So if you were in the course, go back to the dashboard. Just in case you did not know this / see this before, if you click on the 3 dots, you can change the view from card view to list view. And when you change it to list view, you'll see, so this is mine, but you'll see any upcoming assignments for every day. So that's a good way to keep track of all your classes, all your assignments for every day. And then you can always change it back if you want. On the side, it also says coming up, so you can also see your assignments there. You can go back into the class. So I'm going to show you where, 2 places on how to find where to schedule. One is going to be this link, this side link right here, how to schedule office hours, appointment in Canvas. But when you go there, you won't actually be able to schedule appointments. It's just a video to show you how to do so. So not at this moment, but later, I want you to watch that video so that you know exactly how to do that. Here's some modules. So not even in modules, it's a side link. Yeah, it's a side link. So if you click that, it'll take you to this page. The page it's talking about is in your calendar. So when you actually go to schedule appointments, it will be in your calendar. I don't think I actually do it here. Yeah, I can't do it here because it's not a student account. But you'll be able to go here and follow the video, and it'll explain that. If you ever need my help, just let me know. So I'm going to go back into the course. If I'm going too fast or you need me to go back, just let me know. Alright, some other important side links. Message Miss Thorpe, that goes directly to the Canvas inbox, so you can message me whenever you need to. About absences, homework, questions about homework, anything like that. There's also side links for Desmos in Canvas. That will take you directly to a page in Canvas where Desmos is there. You can also use Desmos like if you're at home on your computer, on your phone, things like that. And then another important one is Delta Math, because you'll be doing homework in Delta Math, so I need you to know what it is. Right? Questions on those things before I show you some others? This is like the boring part. Alright, so I'm going to go into modules now. You can all go into modules. I'm going to say some important ones. You may want to either write this down or keep track of this for later. I don't know if the iPads have the collapse all button, so you can do that. That way you're not scrolling through 50 million things. Some important modules. If you're ever absent, you be absent module. It'll have explanations on what you should be doing for the day, things you need to go back and look at, all those things. The How to Study module is good for tips, bless you. If you're not sure, how should I study math? That's a good place to look. There are also places here, but it's kind of hard to see, I realize that now. You're welcome to look at that as well. It has some of the things, but not the same things. These are more advice from previous students. These are my tips. Recorded lessons. So like later today, after I finish all today's classes, all of the recorded lessons will go in here, into the first, whatever unit we're in, which will be this first one. It'll be by date. I didn't put the first couple days because we weren't really doing anything recording-wise. So you'll just click on whatever the title is, and it'll take you directly to my YouTube page, where it'll have the class reports. It only records this screen and audio, so your faces or anything won't be in there. Some other information. I gave you guys the course calendar yesterday. So that gold piece of paper is not gold in here, but if you ever lose it or need it again, it's always in here. When we get closer to flex days, I'll explain more about that, but if you ever want to find the activities that we do on a flex day, they'll be there. And once we have taken a test and we talk about how retakes work, retakes will be there. I mentioned this yesterday, the other day, that if you haven't joined your class courses, your course codes, you need to do so. If you haven't and still need to, they're in class resources of this module, so you can still do that. Just go in, find your class for this first period, and do that. The calendar will always be in the first unit or in whatever unit we're in as well. All right, questions about any of those things? There's one last set of things I want to show you on Canvas, and that is what the notes on Canvas look like. So, especially if you're absent or want to go back and review. So I talked about there being a course calendar. There's a notes page. In that notes page, it lists out whatever homework is associated with that. So if you ever forget, what did I say in class? It also comes out as an announcement. It's listed. There are blank notes. If you ever lose yours, you can always download these. There are Nearpod blank notes. So if you want to take notes on your computer, draw them, they're always there. There's usually either a video that I did of the notes or a video related to the notes somewhere on the page. If I found extra notes or anything like that, I put it up here. There's always some sort of poll at the end. If you could answer that just so I see how do you feel about it. Do we need to go back over things, stuff like that. And at the very bottom, the filled-in notes to the blank notes, so if you're ever absent, you can go to that, and then the additional practice. So you don't have to use everything on a notes page. Do what you want. Use what you can. The additional practice pages, I don't know what that's working, usually have different videos and extra practice. Sometimes I give that practice in class, sometimes I don't. That's really just for you. If you feel like you want extra practice, it's up there. But I won't really assign this. It's just there if you want it. There's also Desmos activities and stuff like that. So that's strictly for you if you want extra practice. Every set of notes will have a discussion post. I don't know if those. Yes, I think some of you in this class maybe started a couple of those. Make sure you're following the directions. They're each worth 2 points. Did you answer this set of questions and the last part? These are informative, so it doesn't affect your grade, but I still want you to try it, to do it. Your homework will always be on Delta Math. So after every lesson, you'll have a Delta Math assignment. It's informative. It doesn't affect your grade, but it does go into the grade book, so it can be seen if you didn't do it. So make sure you are doing that. Again, if you did not join this, you'll need to do that.
Doing
All of the what?
like number fields and stuff.
At the very least, delta math. The other ones, not today, but you'll need them eventually. You guys kind of looked out this year because in past years I would do Khan Academy, but as formative assignments because you can retake them as many times as you want. But they're doing weird things with Khan Academy. It's not allowed, something like that this year. So I still have you under the class. I still have assignments there. So if you want to go there for extra practice, you can, but it's not a necessary. Right? In a module, you'll also see quizzes and tests, how to study, how to prepare for those, and things like that. Right? Questions about anything Canvas related right now?
So these all are modules?
Yes, all of these are in a module, so let me go back. So this is our first module. It has a bunch of stuff that I skipped through, but you're welcome to go back through that. So each lesson will have notes, additional practice, Delta Math, Khan Academy, and a discussion, and then you'll see it broken up by lesson 1. This is all part of lesson 1, and then lesson 2, and then it'll do the same thing. Other Canvas questions? So my course may not be set up like someone else's. It may be, some teachers use it more than others. I use Canvas a lot. I do have office hours that I didn't share before. Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Once activity bus starts, it'll be 2:20 to 4 p.m. on those days. But until then, it's 2:20 to 3:30. But make sure you schedule an appointment first, because I have 6th and 7th off, so I may leave early if I don't see appointments. Right? Now, we have a small amount of time, so we're going to do a little bit of math stuff today. But because you just sat through, listened to me talk, log out of Canvas. So at the top, go back to the home page, hit the 3 lines, and log out. And I want everyone to get up for a second, go take your iPad back to the cart, and make sure it's plugged in.
So make sure it's plugged in.
Yes, make sure it's plugged in. So there's a lot of vocab on here, so I'm going to let you start writing. I'll read them out loud as you start writing. If you can't see or need to move up, let me know. You can also look at either screen. Some of these words you have heard before, some may be new to you. Additive identity occurs when the sum of any number a and 0 equals a. And an example of that is a plus 0 equals a, or 2 plus 0 equals 2. An additive inverse occurs when any number a has exactly one number for which a plus a negative a equals 0. An example of that is 3 plus a negative 3 equals 3 minus 3, which equals 0. Or negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. A multiplicative identity occurs when the product of any number a and 1 equals a. An example, b times 1 equals b, or 4 times 1 equals 4. The multiplicative property of 0 occurs when the product of any number a and 0 equals 0. Example, d times 0 equals 0, or 5 times 0 equals 0. A multiplicative inverse occurs when any number a over b, where a and b do not equal 0. has exactly one number b over a, for which a over b times b over a equals 1. Some examples, they're on the side here. 1/2 times 2 over 1 equals 1. 3/5 times 5/3 equals 1. Anyone still need additive, identity, or interest? The commutative property occurs when the sum or product doesn't change when the order in which you add or multiply is changed. Example, a plus 2 equals 2 plus a, or 2 times 3 equals 3 times 2. The associative property occurs when the sum or product doesn't change when the order in which you group 3 or more numbers when adding or multiplying is changed. And then the examples for this one are on the side. So in parentheses, we have 2 plus 5, outside plus 3, and 2 plus on the outside, on the inside 5 plus 3. Or, it's kind of the same thing but now multiplying. 2 times on the outside, 3 times 4 on the inside, and on the inside 2 times 3 on the outside times 4. Anyone still need any of the multiplicatives? If you could fit in the example, that's fine. If you were to come off to the side to make it better, that's fine.
You have to write down the vocabulary.
Not the vocabulary words are there. These, the examples. I would write at least one of them. You don't have to write both. It's just something to refer back to. Do you still need yours or writing these ones? The distributive property occurs when any number a is multiplied to the quantity of b plus c or b minus c. The a can be multiplied to both b and c, and these products would be added together or subtracted from each other. And then the example given, b on the outside of the parentheses times b plus 2 inside the parentheses equals 5b plus 10. Or b outside of the parentheses times c minus 5 inside the parentheses equals bc minus 5b. The substitution property occurs when any number a is equal to any number b. Then a may replace b or vice versa. So substitution kind of happens all the time. Anytime you multiply or add or subtract or divide or do any sort of operation. 2b minus 10 when b equals 4, actually substituting a number in for the value of b. So that 2 times 4 minus 10 equals 8 minus 10, which is negative 2. when you know what 3 squared is and that equals 9, you can say you use substitution property. Or when you multiply 4 times 6 and you know what that answer is, you can say you use the substitution property. And then there are a couple that I've written in, but I need to see where we are. Anyone still need commutative or associative?
What's the example for the
For the associative, it's either of these. So a couple other hands for anyone else still need associative?
Do you remember the example for multiplicate with inverse? Balance?
This one?
Oh, balance.
We'll probably have time to do 1 or 2 examples on the next page, and then we'll be done for today. Reflexive property is basically is the same on both sides, if you want to write that as a side note. So 5 plus 3 equals 5 plus 3. It looks the same on both sides. Symmetric property is what it looks like on one side. I could flip it and it still be the same. The order is just different. So x equals 20 is the same as 20 equals x. Transitive property isn't used that often, but it's up here. The symmetric, I don't remember the formal definition, but think about like the order doesn't matter. If you put it one way, x equals 20, or the other, 20 equals x, it still means the same thing. Transitive property always has 3 parts. It'll say something like, if 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 8 minus 4 equals 4, then 2 plus 2 equals 8 minus 4. It's really just saying, if this thing equals something, and this thing equals something, then I can take both of those things to be set equal to each other. This is like the most vocab we're going to do in a whole year. Just about. Like in one sitting. We'll do. Once you finish all those, go to the next page. And like I said, we'll only have time to do a couple of these, and that's all right. This is just trying to get you back in the mindset of math, trying to remember some properties that you've learned about before, maybe some new ones, applying them, things like that. and then we'll talk about this last box. So for each line, it's asking what did they do between these two sets. So what changed? The 3 squared changed to 9. And then we have to think about which of those properties that we just wrote down was that. It was a lot, so I'm going to give you this one because it's sake of time. So anytime we can say, or we know off the top of our head, 3 squared is 9, or 3 times 3 is 9, things like that, that's substitution property. I'm just going to shorten that and say property. So anytime you change some, basically all of these are really substitution property, but we just specify certain things. Right? From this one to this one, what changed?
The 9 minus 9.
9 minus 9 is now what?
0.
0. So if I'm subtracting, I had a positive and a negative, I combined them to get 0. Which properties are they? Give me a second to see if we can figure it out. It is additive inverse. Even though we're technically not adding, but it is additive inverse. Spell that right. Right, and then last thing, what changed from this line to this line? 7 plus 0. Became just 7. I heard additive, inverse. Not inverse, we just use that one. We're not subtracting, but the other one.
Isn't that like adding?
Which one?
The that one? Is that additive inverse too?
So inverse is only if you basically cancel them and they become 0. Identity is if it stays the same. Right? Look at the very last box. We're going to run through these real quickly and then you can put your phones up. I'm sorry, you can grab your phones, is what I meant, in a second. So these examples are asking which are commutative or not, which means, sorry, does the order matter or not? To put on your coat and pick up your boots, does the order matter? Yeah. So this would be commutative. To wash your clothes and then dry them. The order matters, so that would not be commutative. To put on your left shoe, put on your right shoe. Order doesn't matter, so that's commutative. To hang up the phone and say goodbye. The order does matter. If I hang up before I say goodbye, did they hear me say goodbye? Probably not. Putting on toothpaste and then brushing your teeth. Yes, the order matters. So that would not be commutative. Because it would not be commutative, because if I brush my teeth without toothpaste, then it really doesn't. Right, so it would not be commutative. So commutative to order doesn't matter.